The fall of the Mamluk Sultanate marks a crucial chapter in the annals of Middle Eastern history, characterized by a tumultuous period of transition and upheaval. The Mamluk Sultanate, which had endured for centuries as a dominant force in the region, eventually succumbed to a combination of internal strife, external pressures, and shifting geopolitical dynamics. This essay will delve into the factors contributing to the decline and ultimate collapse of the Mamluk Sultanate, examining both internal and external challenges that precipitated its downfall. The Mamluk Sultanate emerged in Egypt and Syria in the 13th century, following the defeat of the Ayyubid dynasty by the Mamluk military caste. For centuries, the Mamluks effectively ruled over a vast territory, exerting their authority through a complex system of governance and military prowess. However, by the late 15th century, the Sultanate began to face a myriad of challenges that would ultimately undermine its stability. One of the primary internal factors contributing to the decline of the Mamluk Sultanate was the factionalism and infighting within the ruling elite. The Mamluk political system was characterized by intense competition and rivalry among various emirs, nobles, and military commanders vying for power and influence. This internal strife often led to instability and weakened the central authority of the Sultanate. The assassination of sultans and the constant struggle for succession further exacerbated these internal tensions, creating a climate of uncertainty and insecurity. Economic stagnation also plagued the Mamluk Sultanate during its later years. The decline of trade routes and the emergence of new maritime powers in Europe diverted commerce away from traditional overland routes through the Middle East. This shift in global trade patterns undermined the economic foundation of the Mamluk state, leading to fiscal difficulties and a decline in state revenue. Furthermore, the reliance on agricultural revenues, particularly from the lucrative cotton trade, left the Sultanate vulnerable to fluctuations in agricultural productivity and external market forces. Externally, the Mamluk Sultanate faced mounting pressure from the rising power of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans, under the leadership of Sultan Selim I, launched a series of military campaigns aimed at expanding their territorial control and asserting dominance over the eastern Mediterranean region. The decisive Ottoman victory in the Battle of Marj Dabik in 1516 dealt a severe blow to the Mamluk forces and effectively paved the way for the Ottoman conquest of Egypt and Syria. The fall of the Mamluk Sultanate was also facilitated by the shifting dynamics of global politics and the rise of European imperialism. The discovery of new trade routes to Asia and the establishment of direct maritime trade links with the East circumvented the traditional routes controlled by the Mamluks, further marginalizing their influence in global commerce. Moreover, European powers, such as Portugal and Spain, sought to challenge Muslim dominance in the region and establish their own spheres of influence, posing an existential threat to the Mamluk Sultanate. In conclusion, the fall of the Mamluk Sultanate was the culmination of a multitude of internal and external factors that eroded its power and influence over time. Factionalism, economic stagnation, external pressures from the Ottoman Empire and European imperialism, as well as changing global trade patterns, all played significant roles in precipitating its decline. The demise of the Mamluk Sultanate marked the end of an era in Middle Eastern history and paved the way for the subsequent dominance of the Ottoman Empire in the region. While conflicts with Jews were not a central factor in the fall of the Mamluk Sultanate, they did play a role in the broader context of the region's dynamics during that period. Throughout its history, the Mamluk Sultanate, like many other Islamic polities of the time, had interactions with Jewish communities within its territories. However, these interactions were diverse and cannot be generalized as solely conflict-ridden. In the Mamluk Sultanate, Jews, along with Christians and other religious minorities, were considered dhimmis, meaning protected subjects under Islamic law. While they were subjected to certain restrictions and discriminatory policies, they were generally allowed to practice their religion and engage in commerce and other activities within their communities. One notable incident involving Jews during the later years of the Mamluk Sultanate was the arrival of refugees from the Iberian Peninsula following the Spanish Reconquista and the expulsion of Jews from Spain in 1492. Many of these Sephardic Jews sought refuge in North Africa and the Middle East, including areas under Mamluk control. Their arrival contributed to the cultural and economic diversity of these regions. However, tensions between different religious communities, including occasional outbreaks of violence, were not uncommon in the medieval Middle East. Instances of conflict between Jews and Muslims, as well as between Jews and Christians, could occur due to various factors, including economic competition, social tensions, and political instability. It's essential to recognize that while conflicts between different religious groups occurred periodically, they were not the primary cause of the decline of the Mamluk Sultanate. The factors mentioned earlier, such as internal factionalism, economic stagnation, and external pressures, had far more significant impacts on the Sultanate's fate. Nonetheless, interactions and occasional conflicts between Jews and other religious groups were part of the broader historical landscape of the region during that era.